Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy. Thanks for dropping in on me today. I have to pre-warn you, I may need a couple extra breaks today. I have that scratchy throat again. We've got a lot of news, but first I got to say hi to everyone. TurtleIslandNews.info. I'm hoping that the page is a little bit more easy to negotiate. There's a lot of articles for today. There's a blog archive right now on the left hand side of my page. It's right under page views, and by the way, we are way past 300,000 now since I put this up, I don't know, a couple months ago. I would like to thank you guys for blowing me up with your love. You're awesome. But anyway, if you just go under the blog archive, it goes date by date, so you can see all these things. We won't have time to go in each thing in depth, but there's some videos and related links in case you're interested. I am going to say good morning to Wolf Spirit Radio. Thanks for joining us today. You guys send a lot of people over, and I really appreciate that. To, of course, the Awake Radio Group. Good morning, our brothers and sisters from all over the world now. And, of course, Revolution Radio, Studio A, all listener supported. And again, shout out to those guys, #1 radio station on the internet right now, which is awesome. I'm so grateful to be a part of that. Part of you. You crazy people for listening to me. Well, you're listening to me. So the news is crazy pants once again. We have to look back to Confucius for a moment. He said signs and symbols rule this world. Not words, not laws. False flags, newer term, often describe covert operations designed to deceive in such a way that the operations appear as if or as though they've been carried out by individuals, entities, groups, or nations other than by those who actually planned and executed those moves. The strategy of tension is basically a concept for control and manipulation of the public through opinion, through use of fear, propaganda, agent provocateurs, terrorism, etc. The aim is to instill fear into the populace while framing political and targeted opponents and groups for terrorist activities and atrocities. In America, like all of the planet now, but America is very important. Just like the Bible is very important to us right now. Don't worry, it'll make sense in a minute. Because all the signs and symbols of false flags and strategies of tension are there to see if your eyes aren't wide shut. Just as we were beginning to learn about the signs and symbols of August 26, 2015, made for mass consumption, strategy of tension, assassination of reporters Allison Parker and cameraman Adam Ward by an alleged shooter, 41-year-old Vester Lee Flanagan III, another black Manchurian candidate, by the way, and suddenly unleashed for yet another sensationalized, wicked, bloodthirsty false flag operation. I'm going to be calling this Operation Go Forth, because black lives will never matter to these people. In fact, since July 13th, 2015, Sandra Bland, that strategy of tension operation broke out on the global scene. There has been about 4 CIA MK Ultra Manchurian candidates. 3 people of color candidates unleashed in some very special operations to distract and divert public attention and influence and manufacture public consensus. And lo and behold, when citizen investigative journalists widely began to expose this problematic deceptive signs and symbols of all the videos coming out of Waller County of Sandra Bland to prove that she was alive when her mugshots were taken, had been edited, manufactured, and rendered unauthorized, unauthenticated by the deliberate deletion of video evidence, timestamps, date stamps. Manchurian candidate once again suddenly unleashed. Quietly, in the background, something that I've been telling you for a very long time is about to be released. I'm sure you won't hear it in mainstream media. Probably I'll be the only one to tell you this. There's a very small group of people, Métis in Gaspé, and of course I have this article on the page. The preliminary DNA tests have authenticated a story that I've told you, that here on this continent were people of all colors, and that we for a very long time lived here. Their DNA, and I will continue to keep you up to date on this DNA is proving that their Viking and French DNA was here for 2,000 years. Viking and French, most likely from Paris that had been a Roman city. Then Romans got their butts kicked out of there around the time that Europe was fighting for their freedom against the Roman enslavement. These people, looking actually very Roman and French, well, not Roman, but Viking and French, and Métis, so mixed. We at this point are saying that they're just French and native, but that isn't close enough. 2,000-year DNA, 2,000-year-old DNA, proving that we lived here together as a people way, way, way before Colombo ever got his nasty little commission to sail the 7 seas. When did the enslavement happen? When was the big change? This is a question. I'll tell you one sign of it, because I need to tell you 4 things that you probably don't know about the descendants of the Cherokees, black slaves. Now, as I've told you before, on this continent, the natives of all tribes, and their names, there are no Cherokee. I know we use that word, but it's complicated. Speak to someone who's actually knows anything about their history and their peoples, they will say they're not Cherokee. That's a blasphemous name. Salagi, there's many different tribes, but anyway. The natives here had white slaves first. Before that, other natives, of course. But this was usually because of war and taken as prisoner, and then you can become part of the tribe after a certain amount of time. Rules changed here, too, on this continent. So the black slaves, descendants of them, are unhappy. In fact, They've sued the Cherokee Nation that enslaved them and freed their ancestors, only to be kicked out a century later. On Saturday, they'll be gathering in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to prepare for next month's court proceedings. Here's what they want: to be recognized once again as part of the great Cherokee Nation. Are you confused? Well, you're not alone. The group, known as the Freedmen, have been fighting the Cherokee government for citizenship since it was revoked in the 80s, on the basis they lacked proof of native blood. And a government infiltration of the recognized Cherokee people, who had been taken over by the government, just like this always happens all over the planet. Around 3,000 reservation residents claim lineage from blacks once enslaved by the Cherokee and had rights. Here's what you need to know. There were thousands of slaves, actually. It wasn't just the Cherokee. Of course, many members of the 5 civilized tribes. And you know, when Europeans call you civilized, somebody sold out. So we've got Cherokee, we've got Choctaw, we've got Chippewas, we've got Creeks, we got Seminoles. All of them had slaves. Though the biggest group, the richest group, the most educated group were the Cherokee. By 1860, the tribe had almost 5,000 enslaved blacks alone under their dominion, owned mainly by a minority of elite members, which happens everywhere on the planet. Who's gonna, we need chickens and animals and land. We don't have this money. Know that this, again, once an elite group, also known as the Red Hand, which we've talked to you about. This is Freemasonic. Always goes back to Freemasons again. Now, beginning in the late 18th century, white leaders encouraged the tribe to adopt the practice in order to facilitate large-scale agricultural production and their assimilation into the white way of doing things. 1827. The Cherokee created a slave code virtually indistinguishable from that of their white southern plantation owners. The document explicitly barred slaves and their descendants, including those of mixed race, from owning anything: property, money, drinking alcohol, or marrying into the tribe. Blacks were categorically disenfranchised even if they were free or partially Cherokee. During their removal in the 1830s, 2,000 slaves were forced to march westward with their masters on the Trail of Tears. The tribe eventually settled in what is now Oklahoma. Their new nation prospered largely because of slave labor. So when Lincoln threatened the practice of slavery at the start of Civil War, the slave-dependent Cherokee pledged allegiance to the Confederacy. So in a nutshell, they want to be reinstated as rightful members of the Cherokee tribe. 1866, after the Civil War, the Cherokee agreed, but they were forced to do this. We need to recognize that. So agreed is a nicer term for what actually happened. They granted full tribal citizenship to all free slaves and their descendants in the wake of the Cherokee Emancipation Proclamation. The tribe's newest members became known as freedmen. Freedmen's rights were not easily won. The Cherokee became possessive and restricted the divisions of their assets. The U.S. government was able to overrule their efforts to shut out the freemen. They were trying to shut them out of the land and financial allocations, but nearly a century later, all the process was completely reversed. Now, Ross O. Swimmer, a chief of the Cherokee Nation, issued an executive order, 1983, requiring all citizens have a certificate of degree of Indian blood in order to vote. The certificates were based on Dawes rolls, a tribal consensus taken between 1899 and 1906. At the time, mixed blood Cherokees were treated as full members, while freedmen were listed separately still, regardless of any native ancestry. Following Swimmer's declaration, 1983, 25,000 freedmen descendants were cut off from their heritage, initiating a racially heated rumpus that's going on to this day. Now, this is not all Cherokee people. Definitely not our brother, Chief Charles Two Dog. This is what happens when you're taken over. Your mind, your soul. This is what's happening on this planet. You know, I hear people talk about this enlightenment, and of course they want to talk about the X-wave. Really? Because I looked at the news today, and I'm thinking the F word, feel it with me now. Horrific. It's horrific. A 12-week-old puppy was just found with their paws and head bound, left on the side of a road. Cops beat up a 12-year-old girl almost to death, saying she must have been a prostitute. She was standing in front of her house. She is an actress. She is well known. Children who have been stolen from their families here in Canada are kicked out on the street when they're 18, whether or not they have a place to go. Doesn't matter. 18, you're gone. It's called aging out. A beautiful, terrified dolphin jumped out of the water onto the shore to try to escape the horrific things happening in Japan right now. There's still a debate whether or not these are intelligent beings. I'm here to tell you, their brain structure means they're smarter than us. And they do have hands. That's what them little fins are for, and that's why they still have fingers. Look at them. Look at their brains. As a matter of fact, they grew this sonar thing. They didn't always have that. They grew it. Way smarter than us. Their brains are bigger. They're far more connected neurologically. We're sitting in a place where there is a virus warning right now. Just for the back to school. You know, I was a hairdresser for years, and the one thing that you always knew about September is the back to school brought viruses. But this virus disguises itself as an allergy, except it's killing kids. And it's all across the United States. Of course, bubonic plague, which, you know, the United States government is now saying, yeah, we may have mishandled some of that, has just taken its 14th victim. By the way, it's killing men twice, twice the rate it's killing women. We are killing our animals in gas chambers because we want puppies, but we don't want dogs. After years of lying. Years of lying. U.S. Army has completely confirmed dangerous radioactive pollution present in St. Louis County in Missouri because of the Manhattan Project that I've told you about. Tons of waste from the experiments has been buried there in a creek near St. Louis, contaminating the water table and everyone who lives in that area. These are not accidental things. This is not a random event. The Navy agrees, by the way, to limit Pacific training, which has been slaughtering marine life. Slaughtering them. Signs and wonders. Let me talk about this year, because we have to go into this. This year, as we've said before, is the year of the Great Crossing. This is the year of the Lord of Light. This is the year that the great work is completed. And I have a wonderful video up there if you have time later. This is the year of Lucifer. This is the opening of the 9/11 gate, which I'm going to get into. This is the Rainbow Bridge. This is why there's certain events coming on. The opening of the 9/11 door, scheduled to open in stages from your 4th of July, and several hitting times leading up to it being thrown open September 23rd, 2015. This is the day when Pope Francis and Barack Obama, the bear, lions and tigers and bears and dragons, oh my, because he was just on Bear Gillis eating. Do you know that one? That adventure show, I'm forgetting the name right now. And ate a piece of a salmon that a bear ate. This is a ritual. It is an ancient ritual used in every single culture I've ever even heard of. You exchanging your DNA, of course, with the salmon, but with the bear, more importantly. It even said this is the time that the bears will rise. I'm going to find you that clip. I know I have it somewhere. Now, the Pope and Obama will meet together at the White House. 9/11 points to the 10th day of the year of Lucifer. Oh yes. We could call this hashtag thisisnotjesus.com or something close to that. We'll think of something clever. Because this is not the year of your enlightenment, people. You are not going to transcend. People are not freaking transcending. There's no transcending. People are getting bloody and nasty and ridiculous. In Toronto. And I realize this is not this beautiful place where things are just fun and we all get along and we're all going to sing Kumbaya. It's kind of like that. But it's not perfect. It's not perfectly like that. We have flyers going around promoting a white students' union. People tore that shit down because it looks like a welcome to the Nazi organization poster. We have beautiful once beautiful Alberta it looks like Mordor. Where's my nerds at? High five. It looks like friggin' Mordor. It does. Right now. Of course, this is about September 11th. Again, Shemitah year, when chaos was unleashed and the world underwent systematic restructuring. It takes time. It took 14 years, which is 2 sevens. Sevens are important to many tribes. Even, when my dad came on, what did he say? You're the seventh of a seventh. It's important in every culture because it's a little bit voodoo. We'll talk about that. This is the crossing date, though. The anticipated time of the Great Illumination. Now, I know many of our brothers and sisters are saying this about Jesus. Tracey, you're missing. What about Jesus? I don't know. But 9/11 is when Lucifer himself crashes through the gate. The structure of those towers, the number 1776, this was supposed to be the capping of the pyramid. That's why they used that. It's the jewel from Satan's crown that slammed into earth. We have stories of this all over the world. These are events. And it's not a rumor, the World Trade Center was specifically designed to be the replica of Kaaba in Mecca. Islam's most holy space, you would think. But the Kaaba is way older than Islam. It was the temple of Shiva. It is Saturn's cube. Shiva is Cernimus. CERN. These things are all linking up with us. And the rainbows and the images, which we will go over because I have some pictures. We've talked about the house of Sod. The Saudi families are the brotherhood. The Saudi families made the crane. But if you look at the images I've put up for you, tell me this is not the rod of God weapon that I told you guys about, because it looks exactly like that. And for the year of the crossing, it was just nailed because the Delta State shooting happened on the 33rd parallel, the blood sacrifice line. And you can watch that video. Put it up yesterday. They had it at Highway 1 and Highway 8. It's the proposed crossroads. Bluesman Robert Johnson made a deal with Papa Legba. Crossroads are where you make the deal. Your soul is what's for trade. Bluesman Robert Johnson was just a mythical person. But we can go back into the blues history and the voodoo history of making a deal, because we've played many musicians who say they have made a deal. The deal with the guy. Who's the guy? Is that Jesus? Apparently, if you want to sing, you go to the Lords of Light. You want to sing, you go to the Lords of the Dance and the Lords of the Music, or the God L. You go to the Cube, you go to the Crossroads, and you make a deal. The deal has just been made. Absolutely made. Now, understanding this great year, this galactic astrology as Trilogy, AZ, Alpha, Omega, first and the last. This great year, to understand the present galactic alignment in terms of present end-time disaster, elite plans. And I have a really cool picture up there that it's way easier to follow me with pictures, so feel free to look at the pictures. It's pretty cool. It's on the main page as soon as you get there, and I'm very close to closing enough windows so I could actually post these things. So this is the Aztec sunstone, Mesoamerican, which isn't exactly their full story. We'll get into that. This is biblical and other prophecies of disasters ends, return to good, all connected to one priestly knowledge of a galactic cycle. And what's up there is a chart for December 2016, which is important. Each December, the sun and the other heavenly bodies transit over the galactic alignment. The galactic alignment. Only once in a great year do the galactic center and the winter solstice align. Omega, 9/11/2001, marked the beginning of Pluto transit over the galactic alignment. This was the beginning of the wave. 2016 marks the end of Saturn's transit over the galactic alignment. Now, galactic center, the galactic alignment, this present window of time, 2001-2020. Now, the alpha is the motion of the signs in a clockwise direction against the constellation backdrop. Means we are entering at the present into the age of the great goat, Capricorn, pandemonium, panic, pancakes, which I love. This is also the green man. This is Cain. This is the guy. This is the Lord of the world. This is him. And again, hashtag, this is not Jesus.com. Okay, got me. Now. Oh, thank you so much, Lois. Lois just did that. Yeah, I know, right? Obama, salmon, bear. So, lions, dragons, and bears. Oh my. So first, we're explaining the present transition of ages we are in between 2001 and 2020, which is also, I think not accidentally, one cycle of the nodes of the moon since 9/11. First, Pluto played his role in the galactic alignment, and Saturn opposed as the Iraq War broke out. Now Saturn will conjunct the galactic alignment by moving into the sign in which the galactic center is presently placed, Sagittarius. Now, this September, this one we are in right now, and then moving over the galactic center, while in conjunction with the sun, each December as a new great year and a new age of Capricorn, the goat, is beginning. Does that sound like Jesus? Not Jesus.com. So Saturn, seventh planet, conjuncts the sun, galactic center, winter solstice. That marks the beginning of Saturn's rule. the marker for the great disaster, the great transition, the reaping of the transition from the great summer to the great winter of the northern hemisphere. It's targeted at us. And we're taking pictures of rainbows everywhere at night. Now the seventh planet, well, this could be accompanied by a galactically caused solar event that will in turn cause the Earth's magnetic poles to flip, already started. Certainly Saturn's entry into the game is likely to intensify. What we have been experiencing in the last couple of years, the battle for the world, the battle for the souls of the world, the war on terror, world domination, new world order, economic collapse, World War III, which, all of those things, I think, economic collapse, they need money. That's how they control us. But World War III never really started. Too bloody. Too bloody. Extreme climate shifts, oh my God, yes. I really don't know what to even hope for anymore. To be wrong would be great if the world was right. But it seems that the purification must and has already begun. Because they've already opened the portal. They have. CERN said that they were going to open portals. They were pretty darn clear on this. And I am going to find my links because I put them up so they'd be here handy. But, of course, are they handy? Hell no. Okay, signs and wonders. Let's start there. Signs and wonders. I am going to put this in the room. And excuse me while I just ramble on, guys. I'm trying to get into a couple of the rooms so I can actually post these links this time, so you could actually see everything, because that's important. I want you to see these pictures. Okay, here we go. Okay, double rainbow. Ba-bam. Here we go. Double rainbow. Now, signs and wonders, double eclipse, September 13th. It takes 3 days. The portal opened on the 10th. Well, they reached 13 Tev in CERN on the 10th. It takes 3 days because 3 is an ancient number. You need 3. It has to be 3. So September 13th, NASA's Solar Dynamics, SDO, kept up its constant watch on the sun. Its view photobombed not once, but twice. Just as the moon came into SOD's view on a path across to the sun, the Earth entered the picture, blocking the view completely. When SOD's orbit finally emerged from below the Earth, the moon was just completing its journey across the face of the sun. So, though SOD sees dozens of Earth ellipses and several lunar transits every year, this is the first time the two have ever coincided perfectly. SOD's orbit usually gives us an unobstructed view of the sun, but the Earth's revolution around the sun means this orbit passes Earth, or behind Earth, twice a year, for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. During these phases, the Earth blocks the view of the sun for any time from a minute to an hour every day. The Earth's outline always looks fuzzy. The moon becomes clear, like crystal. This is because the planet itself completely blocks the sun's light. The Earth's atmosphere is an incomplete barrier, blocking different amounts of light at different altitudes. However, the moon had no atmosphere. I would like to correct this article saying yes, it does have an atmosphere, and I will find you that link. I have it on my page somewhere. It actually has an atmosphere now. Why? I don't know. It does. Now you can see the video, but it's pretty. It's about the Elu. So this is the 29th Elu. So as the last month of the Jewish year, Elu is traditionally a time of introspection, stock taking, a time to review one's deeds, spiritual progress over the year, prepare for the coming days of awe. Awe. I wish it was awe. That was so cute. It's awe as in, oh my God, the heck was that? You know, more West Coast marine life. Freaking climate disaster out there. Thousands of pink salmon, which I love, just dying. Tragedy unfolding again as a polygamous set with 8 dead, 5 missing after a flash flood. Flash away vehicles, Utah-Arizona border. See, I'm not seeing. I'm not feeling the love right now. I'm not seeing the great beauty. I'm not seeing us taking care of our brothers and sisters. And we better, because the northing, which I've told you about for years, is happening right now. So, double eclipse on the 13th. Tragedies, death, floods threatening Fukushima, plant structures, nuclear nightmare territory again. A lot of nuclear fuel has gone into the ground, will come out of its surface, going on right now, and the Georgia Guidestones don't have anything written in Japanese. Countless dead birds reported off the Pacific of the U.S. coast. Nothing will eat their bodies, by the way. Nothing. There are no seals there. The fish are not there. All of them are starving. The animals acting weird, sick, weak, some too weak to fly, some too weak to run. And it's all right there in front of you, you know, if you have the eyes to see, which I know you do. We'll go over this too, because I have so much stuff today. Here we go. Actually posting stuff. Now, Hitler said, make a lie big. Keep it simple. Keep saying it. Eventually, they will believe it. Albert Einstein said, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. There will be signs in the sun, in the moon, in the stars. The earth will dismay. And for those around us, especially following all the Kabbalistic disciplines, these past 3 days have now become placed in the proper order. With the precedented 14-year signs, having shown, interpreted the path to follow. Has to be 14 years too, that's 2 sevens. As one disciple explains, being a multiple of 7, 14 partakes of its importance. And I want you to see this because I want you to see the double rainbows. And we're going to go into this. And being the double of that number implies a double measure. They look at it as spiritual perfection, but I am not a big rainbow fan. I like the rainbow. I am, and I'm not. The number 2, with which is combined, 2 times 7, also brings its own significance into the meeting here. Matthew 1, where the genealogy of Jesus is divided up, taken in sets of 14, 2 times 7 generations, meaning 2 signs of importance, significance will manifest. Where there will be one and the other, there will be a bridge. There will be 2 bridges. There are always 2 bridges. But also one for each 7-year period. You must understand, of course, that according to this, an event, especially those of world importance, must be understood after 14 years of signs that are manifested. In this particular case was the 11th September 2001, 9/11, the attacks, and the 14-year anniversary. It's been predicted by many that it would occur. First being was a double rainbow sign over the destroyed World Towers, New York City, September 10th. September 10th, when they started kicking CERN up. And I mostly want you to look at these ones so you can see the image. Because this is a divine declaration of judgment here. The one world rainbow, the Mecca crane. For thus says the Lord of hosts, once more in a little while I am going to shake the heaven and the earth, the sea, and also the dry land. I will shake all the nations, and they will come with the wealth of all the nations, and I will fill this house with glory. Sounds awesome, right? For you? For you? Is this a happy thought? Seriously? This God that they're presenting you with? And there are images. Now this is from, let me see, what's it called? Did CERN see another dimension today? From yesterday. U.S. Army plaguing or admitting misplacing black plague samples. How many times has that happened? Humans, and this is more rise of the machine because this is all part of this thing, will have cloud-connected hybrid brains by 2030. They're going for the slow kill. 2.8 million people in Japan having to evacuate. Now, again, I really need you to see and look at this sign, this oculus, because they say this looks like an all-seeing eye. Yeah. That piece was from Social Fall Wiz. I know she gets a little crazy pants, but they're talking about this, the play, the Bible. This is the stuff it was written to come true. Now look at this oculus, this all-seeing eye at ground zero, and tell me this does not look like somebody sitting with their legs open. They're saying that looked like an eye. Ground zero, 9/11. This looks like a birth. A bony, closed eye structure. That is not an eye. I don't know if these are people who've never had sex before with women, but I know what that looks like. This structure called the oculus, which the all-seeing eye may just be put in the wrong way and should be tilted the other way, and that's what it is. It's a great big vagina. Now erected and rebuilt over the World Trade Center transport hub, overlooks the new ground zero. At a cost well over budget, $4 billion, the Oculus, neo-futuristic design, it's referred to as a living structure. Awesome. It's changing its behavior. This is what they say. It's changing its behavior, and it gets more and more complicated. A facade consultation on the Oculus saying it's like a living creature. It's evolving. It's morphing. Because it's receiving a skin. Do you guys remember that scary story I told you a couple years ago? About this house that was built that seems to be rebuilding itself? I know that there was a movie made out of it. Pretty good one too. I think it was from the 80s. Another Stephen King adaptation, Red Rose. But this place, it's so scary and it rebuilds itself. But that story is made after a thing that's supposed to actually have happened. Now, across the middle of the eye is a 355-foot long skylight. The eye is normally closed, and it only opens once a year on a very specific day for a very specific amount of time. Guess when? September 11th. The skylight opened to the elements for 102 minutes. That is how long the 2001 terrorist attack lasted. Precisely 102 minutes from the time that the first jetliner hit to this collapse of the second tower. Precise for a random event, no? So,
the only thing worth fighting for, the only thing worth fighting for.
Blues come down the alley, knocked on my back door. Say, looky here, Harry, wanna worry you some more. If I ever get a friend, hope she don't change her mind. If I ever get a friend, hope she don't change her mind. Get some love and give her all of mine. If I get a little money, oh, I know I got to watch it close. If I get a little money, I know I got to watch it close. Hard times, they will drive you door to door. Talk about trouble, I had it in my early days. Yeah, talk about trouble, had it in my early days. Men and women, Lord, with their evil ways. I got to moan the back alley blues away. Moan back alley blues away. Get myself on the main street one of these days. One of these days. Oh Lord, I got the back alley moan.
Met that guy, and as a matter of fact, I think that's who we're about to meet. Yeah, Voodoo. Voodoo. Veve. That's who just got let in. And a bunch of guys are worshipping a vagina. They need to get laid. That is not an eye. So the eve of September 11th. 9/11 is the gate I've been telling you about. The 1X. X1. A stunning double rainbow appeared. New York City. I have pictures. And appeared to be shining directly upon the One World Trade Center. Following day, a crane struck by lightning in Mecca, killing over 100 Muslims. 11th day prior to Hajj. You would think this is all about a judgment on Islam. This is not an Islamic temple. Proof of that? Look at my page. I think it's the first one you'll see if you go to the page. This is the temple of Shiva. This is an entirely different sentence that's been laid out. As a matter of fact, it's all about Shiva. Your religions are about Shiva. This is Brahma. Abraham is Brahma. Same guys. These are all the family again. Now a crane that is owned by the Saud families, so Bin Laden's, very rich people who don't give even one shit about their people who are dying right now, and causing it, and working with the Americans and the British and, the usual families. On this same 9/11, there was a vote to raise the Palestinian flag at the UN, which passed with 119 votes. So 9/11 again. Canada did not vote for that, of course, because we will do whatever we're told to do. To many, these events would seem entirely unrelated, but not to my magnificent listeners, because you are too smart to have these things pulled over you. We know this is more than of scant significance. This position and not attending to it would be a mistake. There is much to be understood here, and I believe you will agree as we go through these events. Let's go to Isaiah 9:10. Later we're going to be going to Genesis 9:11 and then Revelations 9:11, and he's going to show you who Dad just sang to, who just arrived on the scene. Oh my God. So Isaiah. We will replace the broken bricks of our ruins with the crushed, finished stone, and replant the felled sycamore fig trees with cedar. The verse served as a foundation for the Jonathan Cahn's book, The Harbinger, and the Mystery of the Shemitah. It's interestingly found in 9:10 of Isaiah, the day the symbol of God's covenant was raining down on the very structure of the United States rebuilt. Genesis 9:11 references the rainbow. Yes, I am confirming my covenant with you. Never again will the flood waters kill all living creatures. Never again will the flood destroy the earth. Is that right? Who is this God? Yeah, I'm not a fan of either side, really. I'm not walking down the middle. Not playing. So the symbol of God's covenant with humanity. God. So is this Gut or Good? Or is this Yah? If this is Yah, we'll get to him in a minute. Anyway. Covenant with humanity. A covenant. In the face of judgment, having been recently hijacked to symbolize pride, gay pride, and rebellion against this Yah's God law. Now, prior to the beginning of judgment, we are reminded who is in control of all of that transpires, as his symbol highlights human bravado, frailty of 7-4, so 11, 7 plus 4, days after it hijacked by sodomites. Interesting. We're going to be talking about sodomites on Thursday. Sodomites who have taken over the world. You know, the cross-dressing pedophiles who have reached into everything. But anyway, within weeks, the mystery Babylon will fall. New World Order, Tower of Babel will rise. This covenant apparently remains with whatever this beast is that we made a deal with. And again, I think that deal was not the long time ago, they said. If these people in Gas Bay prove that they are French and Viking from 2,000 years ago here on this continent, well, I'm backed up. And everything natives have been telling us, that we lived in peace. Everything that I've been showing you, that this world had peace until recently. This could prove it. One event, 12 people. 12 people can prove this world is not what we have been told. That this hellishness, this slavery of each other, this kneeling at the master's table is not ancient. It is new, and we are not these people. The One World Trade Center bears the date of America's founding, standing 1776 feet high. The building, which was rebuilt in the formidable pride of America, invincibility, bears the name of the one world government. Shiva, again, will soon be ushered in one day, after the rainbow symbolizing God's covenant with the one world Trade Center had its tribute of light to honor the memory of those who lost their life 2001 accidents. Because there's nothing like repeating horror over and over and over again. Never forget. Really? Really? I think you should. You know, although we go back to what we were told by one of the guys who worked for the New World Order, that, you know, say something over and over again and simple, make it a mantra, people start believing you. Slavery, you need to get over that. Imperialism, get over it. Exploitation, absolutely get over it. World starvation, get over it. Genocide, get over it. Occupation, get over 9/11. Never forget why. Why? There were more people killed last week than there in one city. What is this tribute of light? What is this year of light? This Anna Lucius. The days after the Dow dropped 239 points in America's 239th year, the symbol of the covenant on the cusp of judgment, I'm saying is not. You don't need to pull down my pants and spank me, although, you know, it might be a good idea. I'm getting the clue, is what I'm saying. Two beams of light projected into the heavens, symbolic of man's ability to overcome while simultaneously connecting us to Anna Lucius. International Year of Light. The return of the light lords, the lords of light, the Lucius or Lucifer, means light bringer or light bearer. And the official International Year of Light began yesterday, September 14th, the day after Elu 29. And I'm probably not pronouncing that right. It's E-L-U-L. And today, the 15th, it's the 15th, right? Today, the 15th, Jade ends. Officially ends. And they have just come up with an idea for neural programming for her, by the way. We'll talk about that soon. I've got lots of news. Anyway, after 119 members voted, well, member nations, of course, voted on 9/11 to raise the Palestinian flag at the UN, a crane was struck by lightning, collapsed, killing 107 Muslims at Mecca, the epicenter of Islam, 11 days prior to Hajj, the pilgrimage. According to BBC, the collapse happened around 14:23 GMT, 14 years after the attack, September 11, 2001, 23 minutes past the hour, connecting us to September 23 again. Interestingly, it was 5:23 local time Mecca when the crane collapsed. It was 5:23 local time New York City when the UN took the vote on 9/10. I'm not saying these events occurred at the exact same time. I'm saying it's interesting. Daniel 9:10-11. We have not obeyed the Lord our God. We have not followed the instructions he gave to us through his servants, the prophets. I'm going to interrupt Daniel to remind you that this God said nothing about stopping slavery, said nothing about stopping rape, said nothing about stopping pedophilia. He did have a problem with mixed fabrics and shellfish. But back to Daniel. All Israel has disobeyed your instructions and turned away, refusing to listen to your voice. So now the solemn curses and the judgments written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, had been poured down on us because of our sin. Moses, who you can look up on my site and see pictures of Moses with the horns all the time. Revelation 9:11. Their king is the angel from the bottomless pit. His name is Abandon. In Greek, Apollyon. He is the destroyer. In the words in the scripture with numeric value of 9/11, there are 35 in total. 11 Hebrew, 24 Greek. Now, all the words with exact numeric value of 9/11 from the oldest text I can get. Maybe not important, and I will butcher these words. But I can tell you where they are. Genesis 10:10, Genesis 45:7, Leviticus 14:6. Well, actually I can give you the English translation. It's not, that doesn't suck so bad. English I can do, which it probably means I swear really well, but you guys know that. So Genesis 10:10, beginning. Genesis 45:7, remnant. Leviticus 14:6, scarlet. Samuel 3:14, betroth. Possess. I'm not sure which this one is. Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 27. 2 Corinthians 34:22, hope. Job 10:16, wonders. Poor Job. PSA, what's that? Psalms, that's a good one. Overflow. Proverbs, forward. Hope, leave, would just be the words. Officer, hour, follow, flight. Syria, Luke 2:2. Grace. Oh, speaking of Syria, Germany was going to be taking in 500,000 people a year. They changed their mind Sunday. Quickly. Why? I don't know. But here's the message. I've put all these words together. Weep and mourn with sackcloth, for the hour of judgment is beginning. The seditious officers are disobedient and possess grievous sin. Damascus, that's Syria, will be wondrous. Heap of ruins. I am just taking the words that I got and putting those words into a sentence. Heaps of ruins. There will be no flight in the hour, for my remnant, my betrothed, will not lose hope. I bring tidings of grace and overflow for those who abstain from the others, who have become scarlet. As Rahab the spy, follow me. I am gracious. Speak the truth, and I will make your path straight. Thousands will fall at your side. I will never leave you. You have been baptized in the living waters until the day of your blessed hope returns quickly. As for the flashes of light and the lights up from the sky, from one end to the other, so it will be when the day of the Son of Man comes. That's from Luke. So, what the heck, guys? Let's talk about rainbows, shall we? Let's jump right to rainbows. I have something else, of course. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world this year. I know, right? We'll get to that. Rainbows. Which, I'm usually a big fan of. Yeah, apparently he's a horny goat. This God. Well, maybe before we talk about the divine declaration of judgment, maybe we should talk about 10 things you must know about CERN. Because the 730 days, the September 23rd, 2015 to the September 23rd, 2017, this is that rape torture thing. But let's talk about CERN before we jump on, since CERN just had the rainbow, Ceramus, Shiva, and that's why the building has vagina, because it's girl. Anywho, and she just called her boyfriend. Her boyfriend seems really pissed off at us right now. Okay, 10 things everyone must know about CERN. For those of us that concern ourselves with things off the menu, CERN, we know this. But try to ask one of your co-workers, friends, if you guys still have those, or the occasional acquaintance, what they know about CERN. If you dare strike up a conversation with me anywhere, it's a matter of seconds before you're going to be hearing about CERN, along with countless other vitally important but rarely known facts about this smorgasbord of prophetic events and utter friggin' absurdity. I know it isn't very effective, and I'm not normal. I didn't ask for this. And I realize that the majority of things that I say, I get back a blank stare. But not from you guys. Hopefully, anyway, you will come away with some questions leading you to some things Decision makers that don't want you to know? If you come away thinking there's nothing to see, at least you have Netflix and football season to begin with in a few weeks. CERN created the internet. Seriously, it was not Al Gore. It was CERN. This is not satire, folks. Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist at CERN, invented the web, 1989. The web was originally conceived and developed to meet the demand for automatic information sharing between scientists in universities and institutes around the world. The first website at CERN and in the world was dedicated to the World Wide Web project itself. It was hosted by Berners-Lee's NeXT, N-E-X-T computer. The website described the basic features of the web, how to access other people's documents, how to set up your own server. The NeXT machine, the original web server, is still at CERN. Now remember, www in Hebrew is vav, vav, vav. Numerical value is 666. Remember Monster energy drinks. And below I have that. Do you want to see this one? Well, it's vav. Sometimes translated as a W. Therefore, www is monster. Yes? That's not all, though. That leads us to the 666. CERN logo is 666. For those who say there's more than 3 sixes, look again. There are only 3. And the other short lines are actually 9s. 2 9s equals 16. That is 666. So let's put it this way. We have 3 6s. Then we have 2 9s, or 3 plus 3 plus 3, first line, 3 plus 3 plus 3, second line, 666. Oh, and this article is under what you need to know about CERN. The Large Hadron Collider, largest machine ever built, allegedly, 27 kilometers in length. Stephen Hawking, this is number 4 in 10 Things You Must Know, said it's going to blow up the planet. Now, considered by many as the world's most foremost physicist, Hawking said Higgs has the potential and has the worrisome feature that it could become mega stable at energies above 100 billion giga electron volts. That's GeV. This could mean that the universe will undergo a catastrophic vacuum decay. With a bubble of a true vacuum expanding at the speed of light, this could happen at any moment, and we won't see it coming. Those who believe this quote is being used to incite unwarranted concern state that levels and power levels to achieve such a catastrophic event is not even possible. No, the world would explode. But the point is, here, is we're dealing with something that the world's top scientists are expressing concern over. Funded by guess who? The Rothschilds. The most powerful family in the world over the last few hundred years has partnered with CERN, and I have information about that. Google Maps. When September 23rd, 2015, or the official first trumpet, if you enter first trumpet or that date into Google Maps, the result is CERN. Why? She asked questioningly to herself. Seriously, how do you explain this way? And it reminds me of the opening of the gates of hell. The Siri glitch, remember that from last year? When it said September 23rd, 2015 was the opening of the gates of Hades? Number 7. Certain movies. Countless examples in recent movies, television shows, that show the collider, and you can do your own search to find out many. The most overt example I believe can be seen is the upcoming Lego Dimensions movie. Dimensions, it's a portal, and I got images. Face Like the Sun YouTube channel has a really good video on this. Okay, number 8. Sorry guys, CERN is seeking to connect to parallel universes. Happened. Oh yes. 2 days ago. On the 13th. CERN they said this is what they were going to do, and you can see a link to the first one of that if it wasn't taken down, but I think I've got enough links backing it up. You can see when they say they're going to open dimensions and portals and black holes. That's a portal. That's an oh my god moment. They want to connect to another dimension, a realm that those who believe the Bible have known since about the beginning of time. And if you start reading any of the old books, it looks like everybody believes this. Now, one of 3 strong teams of physicists behind the experiment said that they predict that gravity can leak into extra dimensions. This is from Dr. Mur Farzal. It's a real guy. So he said that gravity can leak. They're making holes and they're leaky. That's fine, right? So it can leak in another dimension. If it does, then a miniature black hole will be produced. Normally, people would think of the multiverse. They think of many worlds, interpretation of quantum mechanics, where every possibility is actualized. This cannot be tested, and so it is philosophy and not science. This is not what we mean by parallel universes. What we mean is real universes in extra dimensions. Number 9. CERN and dark matter. Approximately 4.9 of the known universe is composed of ordinary matter. That is matter that we can see and touch and feel and manipulate. It is believed that dark matter makes up around 85% of the universe. If you add dark energy to this, you're looking at around 95%. They have already seen apparitions since the restarting of the collider earlier this year, and I've tried my best to scare the crap out of you with them. I do my best. So dark matter, we don't know about. We know it exists, but don't really understand much about it beyond it's really weird. They say unstable, but to me that sounds like, oh my god, it's really weird, let's mess with it. Now again, we come back to there's stuff we know is there, but we can't see it. It does exist, it is dangerous, but we need to reach out and touch this thing. So why not do the dance of Shiva? The dance of death? The dance of Kali? Because Californication is kind of dancing right now. So let's add the god of destruction to the mix for a little spiritual flair, to conjure up some dark matter, to do the little conjure of sacrifice. Shall we? Should I tell you the conjure of sacrifice? It's a real thing. To call up Papa Legba. No, I won't do it. I have to be drunk to do something that stupid. Not saying that I haven't been drunk enough to do that, because I've done it. You guys have heard me. Anyway, Shiva, god of destruction. CERN can be seen in a video, which I played, doing the dance of destruction for Shiva. Shiva is the Kaaba. Shiva is the new dirty building that you've put in the United States. Not dirty. But you see the giant statue in front of the CERN headquarters? Putting this together with dark matter, extra dimension 666 logo. I begin to see there's not many accidents. Why is Shiva at CERN? Why does Shiva and Brahma keep coming up in my stories? Scientists are freaking deliberate, are they not? There's some specific intent going on here. I am not seeing the benign symbols. So anyway, I have no concerns with science. I love science. I am a big fat nerd. But what we are witnessing right now is not science. It is metaphysics, submerged with Eastern mysticism under the cloak of science, smashing particles together. Science, I guess, for sure. Primary objectives far exceed the realms of science here. Begin asking some questions, as you cannot explain all of these bizarre overlaps with coincidence. Look at what is going on through a spiritual lens. Imagine if CERN said, we seek to communicate with entities from other dimensions, and just came out, put it on the table, and, whipped it out. Well, that's to me what they friggin' said. There's nothing new under the sun. Shamans and mystics have conveyed with entities convened from other dimensions. Now the community with the communication with the nether region can be done, the global community, under the banner of science. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there rose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. Revelations. Probably nothing, right? Nothing to see here. Move along. I would like not to constantly talk about this kind of stuff, because, Tracey do the news, right? Slopping on the desk, Lowe's. Rainbows, Tisa Noah. I am giving you a sign of my covenant with you and all the living creatures to come. I have placed my rainbow in the clouds as signs of my covenant with you. So we're going back to days of Noah then, with the monsters. Because days of Noah was marked by unnatural, they said, relations. The rejection of God. What did we do? Did we say, no, we are not worshiping you? Who were we having sex with? Why was the new covenant with the rainbow? It can't just be a boy on boy or girl on girl thing. It can't be that. Because we would have stopped doing that. We like each other. We love each other. We're not in this way. But this symbol, I don't know. This gay pride rainbow plastered on government buildings, corporate symbols worldwide now. Meanwhile, CERN conducting experiments in search of dark matter, beginning of the human existence. A little known fact is that operating theory is that there are rainbow galaxies, that really exists. That's what they call them, rainbow galaxies. Parallel universe. So we have rainbows as God's covenant not to destroy humanity with a flood. Rainbows signifying carnal sinful relations. Rainbows as a symbol of pride, or the completion of anti-God state of mind, and rainbows as a scientific theory that will launch humanity into the next level of achievement, or pride squared. It is a bridge. In much of my life, I've been pretty indifferent about these things. I could care less. It's not my business unless I'm invited to somebody's bedroom. It's not my damn business. It's not, as long as they're not doing it with kids, it's not my business. I thought, though, how does this affect anyone else? The real question people should be asking is, why is it in my face everywhere I look? If 1.9% of the entire population claims to be gay, how come 1 in 5 couples in movies and television are gay? Why are the rainbow symbols all over the place? If one was an alien from a different galaxy visiting Earth, they would believe at least half of all individuals were gay by the images. What is actually quite rare has been constructed as the norm. I am not speaking bigotry here. I'm talking about they mean something else. Even the bizarre and horrifying murals in the Denver airport that make no sense to anyone love the rainbow. Why the hell? And yeah, I think it has to do with the gods Al. Do these horrific paintings all have rainbows in them? Why does this not seem odd to anyone? What does this have to do with gay? Like I said, it has nothing to do with gayness. The same self-righteous hypocrites that champion the cause of the dead lion, but ignore 60 million innocent babies slaughtered every year with abortion, was legalized, are writing the script here. None of this makes sense to anyone who is not blind. But therein lies the problem. We have been blinded. We are under a great deception, and it is only through this lens will any of this make sense. June 26th, 2015, Supreme Court of United States legalized gay marriage nationwide. On the same day, the Vatican signed a treaty with Palestine, in which it no longer upholds Israel as the promised land of the Bible. Well, the people you threw back into Israel are not those people. So it is not. The people you're killing there are those people. Now again, June 26, 2015 also happened to be the 9th of Tammuz on the Hebrew calendar. 9th of Tammuz was the date that the walls of the first temple were breached by King Nebuchadnezzar, Babylonians. The 9th of Tammuz in Jewish history is known as the date that the walls were breached. Rainbows in the Bible. Rainbow first appeared when God declared it was a symbol of a covenant between him and man. This covenant was a promise that he would never again destroy the world by flood. Surprisingly enough, that's Genesis 9:12 to 15. So this is after 9/11 was going to happen. So we also see the rainbow described in Ezekiel's wheel, who I love. And this is more about something else. The Mount of Hormuz, that he saw the angels going up and down. This is where we get the word harmony, which is harm and money. This God, not a good guy. Anyway, Ezekiel's wheel, like the appearance of the rainbow in the clouds on a rainy day, so was a radiance around him. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. When I saw it, I fell face down, heard the voice of one speaking. And again we see revelations around God's throne. After this I looked and beheld a door, and it was open to heaven. And the first voice, which I heard as if it were a trumpet talking to me, said, "Come hither, and I will show you things which must be hereafter." And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne set in heaven. One sat on the throne. He said, to look upon the jasper and the sardine. And there was a rainbow around the throne, shone like unto an emerald. Is God gay? Genesis 9, Revelation 4, the first and the last book of the Bible, the Alpha and the Omega. This is why I'm bringing this up. Oh crap, that's a fast 2 hours, eh? Okay, everyone, join me Thursday. We will go into Rainbow, who the Rainbow Warriors are, and you will see both sides of this circle and these cycles and this wheels on the bus going round and round. I love you guys, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye for now.